We have some breaking news, and the former US President Donald Trump is claiming his home has been raided by the FBI. According to Mr. Trump, FBI agents searched his Mar-a-Lago residence in Palm Beach, Florida. The former president has expressed his anger at the raid, and in a statement he said it is prosecutorial misconduct, the weaponisation of the justice system, and an attack by the radical left Democrats who desperately don't want me to run for president in 2024. He goes on to say such an assault could only take place in broken third world countries. Sadly, America has now become one of those countries, corrupt at a level not seen before. So that just in from the former President Donald Trump.
All right, going to do this quick coaching video, guys, by popular demand. A bunch of you guys were messaging me to let me know that former U.S. President Donald Trump's house in Mar-a-Lago, essentially his mansion in Mar-a-Lago, had just got raided by the FBI. And let me tell you why this is concerning on many fronts. Well, obviously, in the first place, whatever reason they're giving you for the fact that they're raiding his home is obviously just a distraction, right? Because the real reason they're raiding his home is to send a message, right? To send a message not only to him, but obviously his supporters and even people who don't support him but think like him, might have the same beliefs, might have the same ideologies, right? Might want to be free thinkers, right? This is to send a message to you too, that if, hey, you don't toe the line, if you don't back our political candidates, if you don't jump on board with brainwashing children, you're the enemy and we're going to come after you. I mean, essentially, that's what the message is when it really comes down to it, right? They can tell you, I mean, you watch the mainstream news right now and they're telling you like, oh, it's because of these documents that he might have taken from the White House. We need to find out if he took those documents. Really? I mean, there were stories of like the Clintons taking antique pieces out of the White House. How come that was never investigated? I mean, how come, they're not raiding the house of like Hillary Clinton? How, she deleted 33,000 emails. How come she's not being investigated? Or how about the Pelosi's, right? How come Nancy Pelosi's a better stock picker on paper than Warren Buffett these days, than most of Wall Street? How is that possible? How is that possible Nancy Pelosi makes $200,000 a year as a politician, but is worth $113 million, much of which she made in the stock market? How is that possible? How come she's not being investigated? Right? Why is Trump being investigated for some documents? I mean, really, like I said, don't be distracted by the sleight of hand that's going on, which the left is just so blatantly obviously doing these days. I mean, they're not even trying to hide what they're doing. I mean, they're doing it right to your faces. And the fact that anybody still, I mean, really, they are the establishment, right? They have become the Matrix. They have become essentially this force that is essentially tyrannical these days, right? Because like I said, it's like that is really the definition of tyranny, is trying to twist people's arms into agreeing with you, into following you, into supporting you, right? Even when you have crappy ideas. I mean, it's no different than what Hollywood does with their movies, right? They put out a lot of this woke garbage that nobody wants to watch. And if you don't support it, guess what? You're a misogynist, you're the enemy, you're the problem, it's your fault. And instead of them looking in the mirror at themselves and going, hey, our movies suck. Or when it comes to, politicians, hey, our policies suck. These philosophies suck. People won't get on board. I mean, why do you have to threaten people's livelihood? Why do you have to threaten people's, with deplatforming to go along with your agenda if what you were pushing was good, right? I mean, it's kind of like force feeding somebody your products. Say you had a business and you're like force feeding on people. No, if they really wanted to buy it, they would buy it. Because like I said, people vote with their feet. However, when it comes to the left these days, people are voting with their feet and are rejecting it. But then they're coming after you and saying, hey, you, find this guy, attack him, call his boss, make sure he never works again. Yeah, why? Because you disagree? And essentially that's what they're doing now. The left has become absolutely tyrannical. And I've said this before, I'm not left or right. So don't try to peg me, because, and that's another thing, right? It's like, if you don't agree with him, you're a crazy right winger. I mean, they were like labeling Joe Rogan a right winger. It's like, dude, really? Really? I think it was like Tim Pool. He's a right winger now too. It's like, come on, man. Just like all common sense has gone out the door, at least when it comes to the left, and now even some people on the right, right? And but at the end of the day, this whole like raiding of a former U.S. president's house, I mean, this is embarrassing, just on a national scale, right? I mean, this is just, on a global scale, this is just embarrassing, because it's showing the world, like, okay, we engage in dirty politics. I mean, we're operating right now no different than a third world country. Because people can see through this. I mean, even people on the left who are cheering this on, because you look at mainstream news right now, a lot of the left is like, oh yeah, they're getting a dopamine hit off this. They're totally gloating about this. Yes, investigate him. He's a criminal. Lock him up. But again, what about Hillary, right? You can't do that, right? You can't just like defend your political party because that's your team. You have to have some common sense. I mean, at least if you're going to call yourself an adult, right? At least if you want to lead by example, right? Which I try to do, man. I try to lead by example. I try to be as unbiased as possible. And I try to be as honest as possible, especially when it comes to topics like this, because it's just so divisive these days, right? That's why I don't like covering politics. I don't, because it's so divisive, man. It's so divisive. I love everybody. I do. I really, I try to see everybody's points of view, even like people I disagree with. I want to know why they think that, and how do they come to that conclusion. And it's just usually the way they were brought up, or experiences they had growing up, or it's just part of their makeup, part of their DNA, and I see them as their own unique individual person. Even if I know we're never going to agree, we're never going to get along, that's all right, man. I have followers like that, guys who even just follow my work, right? We'll never agree on many fronts, but it's like they learn from certain topics that I cover, so I'm happy about that. I'm like, yeah, cool. And then they jump my program too. Thank you. Right? So yeah, I try to lead by example as much as possible, right? I try not to be divisive. I try not to sink into that lower consciousness that a lot of people sink into these days, both on left and right, right? They both sink into these like lower conscious levels of just our team versus your team. Instead of thinking like, okay, am I leading by example here? What if this happened to me? How would I feel, right? If I was the one being canceled, how would I feel if I didn't have like, 99% of mainstream media in my back pocket, which the left does right now. And this is why we can't have a fair election. Like, people are talking about how the 2020 election was rigged, like allegedly, right? But I mean, essentially all these elections are rigged when 99% of the mainstream media is in the back pockets of the Democrats, right? 99% of Hollywood is in the back pockets of Democrats. 99% of musicians, artists, pop stars, celebrities, athletes, in the back pocket of Democrats, right? They get on their social media to their millions and billions of followers, and they're like, every time there's an election, oh, support this bill. Oh, support this candidate. Oh, vote for him. Vote for her. Right? How many people on the right do you see doing that with that much prowess? Not many, right? I mean, if you look at the mainstream media, how many right-wing news stations are there? There's one, right? Fox. And they're not even all the way right-wing. They're not, right? A lot of people, no, they're totally right-wing. No, they're not. I mean, I've seen them do, just last month, they were pushing like this news story about this transgender kid who is transitioning from boy to girl. And then they were like covering some stuff during Pride Month, like LGBTQ stuff. That's not right-wing, right? That's not conservative, right? But they were getting in bed with a lot of these mainstream news channels and doing that stuff, right? I mean, so they're not completely right-wing. Yeah, sure, they are. They push a lot of right-wing candidates, but they're not fully like 100% right-wing. Maybe 80%, right? The other 20% are just kind of like, they have this rhino mentality, right? Just Republicans in name. So my point being is, like, most of the mainstream media, Hollywood, celebrities, athletes, pop stars, they're totally left, right? And they're all pushing the same agenda. And anybody on the right, especially in Hollywood, especially, especially in who has any type of celebrity status, are afraid to speak out. I mean, imagine, like, as a person on the left, you have it good. You have it good because no one's going to cancel you, No one's ever going to shut you down. You're going with a popular opinion, right? You're just spreading what everybody else is spreading out there, right? But imagine you being on the other side. You're like walking on eggshells, right? A lot of people who are on left don't know what it's like to have any opinions that disagree with most leftists, right? Because you're literally walking on eggshells. You can't say certain things. You're afraid to speak out. You're afraid to post certain things. I mean, even like, on YouTube, for example, I can't really upload like anything hardcore, like I really want to. I mean, I could really just make your heads explode with the knowledge that I have up here, things that I've learned about human behavior and truths and facts and statistics that would probably get millions of views, that would probably go viral, but I can't really say them because that would be the end, right? And I want to keep going. There's a lot of guys that still want to coach, right? But I mean, that would literally be the end, but I have to tame it down. I have to tone it down a bit. Most content creators have to tone it down. The ones who don't tone it down, they have a very short lifespan, right? So why should we even have to tone it down, right? Why can't we just say what we want? We can't. Right? Because the matrix is out there, the establishment, which has essentially become the left, who are there like overlords, oligarchs, watching over you, watching your every move. And if you speak out, if you say something that we disagree with, we're going to shut you down because we own it all. They own it all. They own the social media platforms. They own Hollywood. They own late night talk show hosts, right? I mean, they own everything. So yeah, we don't have fair elections to begin with. I mean, and the fact that there's a very small base of folks out there that are willing to speak up. I mean, it's sad times because, a lot of people joke about my DeLorean. They're like, where would you go back if you could time travel? And I'm like, in your DeLorean. And I'm like, dude, just friggin' A. I mean, you could take me back to friggin' 2005 or something. Leave me there. I'm fine. Right? We got technology, but we don't have social media yet. We had phones back then, but none of this smartphone crap where people were like this all day long. We were still texting, we were still calling each other on the phone. We were still communicating with each other. We weren't as divided. And you know what? Fine, leave me there. But these days, oh my goodness, it's just a completely different ball game. I really feel bad for the kids who are growing up today because they don't. At least when I was growing up, not only did we not have smartphones, we played outside, we engaged with each other, but everybody was pretty balanced, right? And I was able to look at adults and respect them and look up to them. If I was a kid today, I would be like, man, what a circus, what a poop show. These adults act no different than, my 7th grade classmates. And this is why I say you got to lead by example. I always tell people, whether left or right, be the change you want to see in the world. Oh, you want people to think like that? You want people to, support this or support that? Be the change you want to see in the world. Okay, don't just, this is why I can't stand like creators, especially in the manosphere, who have really good content, by the way. They're able to articulate a lot of life lessons and philosophies, but they don't actually live by them. They're just, frauds for the most part. And it's sad to me. A lot of people like, oh, this guy, ooh, said you copied him. I'm like, oh God, give me a break. That guy doesn't even live an ounce of what he teaches, right? I'd never want to be like that because then you're essentially you're just a fraud, So I always tell people, just do your best to be the change you want to see in the world. And if people see that change and if people see that in you, you're actually congruent with your beliefs and ideologies, and it's something that they connect with, they'll follow that. And if it's something they don't, that's okay. You don't need to twist their arm. You don't need to threaten to cancel them. You don't need to get physically violent with them to agree with you. And that's what I see the left doing these days. This is why I will never support the left. This is why I speak out against them so much. And this is a guy who has always been in the middle, right? I've always been in the middle. Maybe I've moved a little more right these days just because the left has become so crazy. And because I run businesses, I'm an entrepreneur, I believe in the free markets, I like small government. Right now the government is in every aspect of our lives. It's insane. You cannot make a single move without, getting permission from your local authorities. That's insane, right? And this is why I say, I will never support the left because all they want to do is grow the size of government and reach into your pockets even deeper. It's like, no, dude, get your hands out of my pocket and do something that helps the people. I mean, right now, like the left, the Democrats just passed this Inflation Reduction Act, right, which is not going to reduce inflation at all. All the economists agree with this. Not only that, but most of the mainstream news, well, all of them are failing to expose the fact that they're using this bill to weaponize the Internal Revenue Service to go after people making under 50K a year. Talking Uber drivers, Lyft drivers, just people who are really scraping to get by. That's not going to affect me. I'm doing fine. I got plenty of, accountants who help and, keep me on board with everything. But, for people who are just like struggling to get by, you're going to get hit the hardest. This is why I say whenever you hear the left talking about how, oh, we're going to tax the rich, vote for us, we're going to tax the rich. That is a fantasy, right? I'm going to tell you that they can't do that because most people who are rich, wealthy, they have a team of accountants, right? They have a team of attorneys. They don't go after them. They go after you because you don't have any backup, because they know you'll just pay it. You'll just pay the bills they send you and not question it and not fight back because you can't. You don't have the resource to do it. Whereas people who are wealthy do. They can't go after them. I mean, it's like, why don't they just go after Amazon, Facebook, and all these woke companies, because they're making just cajillions off the American public. Go after them. Do they go after them? No. Go after Wall Street. Do you go after Wall Street? No. Wall Street's getting tax breaks. And this is from the left. So, regardless, guys, the fact that Trump's home got raided, as much as the left wants to cheer this on, like, this is a win for us, we're winning. Yes, no, it's not a win, because at the end of the day, of course, all the dummies out there, all the NPCs, all the people who've been like brainwashed hardcore by the mainstream media are going to think like, oh yeah, yep, yeah, they're right. They had to investigate him, But again, if they're going to investigate Trump, they should have also already investigated Hillary. They should have investigated Biden's son, right? Biden himself, Pelosi, her husband. I mean, Pelosi's husband just got a DUI here in California. And the night before he was supposed to go before the judge, guess what they did? They changed the judge out, and they installed a judge just for him that has never tried a DUI case before. But they installed her like the night before because apparently like somebody that they knew donated to her campaign. And of course, this is just crooked, dirty politics on full display. And I mean, raiding Trump's house, again, no matter what side you're on, this is just straight up dirty politics, right? Because now you're opening Pandora's box. Right? This is why I say it's dangerous, even if you're on the left or right. It's dangerous because now you're opening Pandora's box for somebody on the right to do this to you at some point, right? To your guy, to your side. And eventually, within time, these ideas of wokeism are going to be outdated. Those are going to be archaic, and we're going to return more to what is currently considered as traditional. We'll go back to that, because then that will be the new thing again. New thing will be getting married and being conservative and being, fiscally responsible, and personal responsibility will be the new thing one day. And then it will be you on the who's getting attacked. Right? This is just, like I said, it's just dangerous on so many fronts. It's very alarming. In many ways, it's very bizarre, but I'm not even surprised anymore, because the left, like I said, has become tyrannical. I'm not saying that the right is innocent by any means. I mean, there are a lot of rhinos out there, and there are a lot of, I don't trust politicians, period, but I definitely don't trust the ones on the left, right? I definitely don't trust the ones on the left. But I'm going to cut it here. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below about this raid on Trump's house. Do you think this is justified? Do you think it's not justified? What are your thoughts on it? Share your comments below. I always love to see you guys in my comments. Always love to read your comments. So if I missed anything, share them below, or any new information, please feel free to share below. But as far as I know, last I heard, Trump is pretty livid about this. He's pretty pissed off. And again, I think, this is a bad thing, because it opens the door for more corruption and more dirty politics, and that's the last thing we need right now in this country. It's the last thing we need, and we're supposed to set an example for the rest of the world. This is not setting an example, guys. This is clown world. This is straight up clown world. But there you go. Drop your comments below.
Anyway, I'm going to wrap up here. Until next time, this is Matt Cross from Alpha Male Secrets. Don't forget to smash that like button below. Also, hit that notification bell right next to it so that you're notified whenever I release a brand new coaching video here on my YouTube channel. More importantly, guys, please make sure you subscribe. Helps me out a ton when you subscribe, so please make sure you hit that subscribe button as well. Helps me out with the YouTube algorithm. And for you guys who want to support my work and all this red pill, gold pill, platinum pill, and awesome pill that I'm teaching you guys even further, the best way to do that is by becoming a premium subscriber of my premium Alpha Male Secrets channel, which I am hosting on a private platform away from YouTube. And the reason I'm doing that is to protect my content from YouTube. In case they ever try to shut us down, they won't be able to, because all of my premium content will be protected on our private encrypted server that will be up forever. And I'm paying for it so they can never take us down. And right now it's only $1 for the entire first month of premium Alpha Male Secrets content from me. So take advantage of it. All you need to do is click that link below in my description box. It will take you over to my website where you can get signed up right now. Just takes 2 seconds, so do that now, and I will see you in my next coaching video.